Girl, I was over it when he was like he called her a goddess and then banged her on the nasty floor. I'm like, I don't think you should be banging goddesses on the floor. She could at least be on the counter. That was it for me. That was it for me.
Welcome to the Novel Universe with your hostesses Ashley and Dawn. We rate and review the newest and most buzzworthy books. We are true book club girls who don't always agree, but do enjoy a good book discussion. I'm Ashley, the fantasy architect.
And I'm Dawn, the criticizer of books.
Grab your favorite beverage and come and enjoy our universe.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Novel Universe with your hostesses Ashley and Dawn. Today we are going to be talking about Electric Idol by Katee Robert. This is the second book in the Dark Olympus series. Now, each of the books in this series you could probably read as a standalone, wouldn't you agree? Like,
yeah.
She does a good job of like just sticking with the characters and then ending the story. So if you want to pick up with the second book, you can. Not a big deal, but there might be some spoilers with some of the characters. Okay. And as always, we post Dawn posts quite a bit to Instagram. Dawn is your head librarian over there, so she does a lot of book talks and book reviews, little 60-second book reviews. So if you're interested to hear what she is reading, and sometimes Ashley also posts, not as frequently as Dawn, but sometimes I do, to what we're reading, you can go ahead and give that a look at. It is Novel Universe. You can look us up on Instagram. So, okay, and how we do each episode is we basically do a non-spoiler, and then we do a spoiler edition, and we'll let you know when that happens, just in case you don't want us to spoil the next book that you are probably going to pick up on your bookshelves. So without further ado, we're going to talk about Electric Idol by Katee Robert. He was the most beautiful man alive. And if I wasn't careful, he was going to be my death. This is a scorchingly modern retelling of Psyche and Eros that is as sinful as it is sweet. In the ultra-modern city of Olympus, there is always a price to pay, and Psyche knew that she would have to face Aphrodite's ire eventually, but she never expected her literal heart to be at stake. And that's all I'm going to say, because I feel like it gives a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Okay.
With that. So if you guys don't know, Dawn was an English major, and so Dawn knows a lot about Greek mythology.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I was not a Greek mythology major.
No, but you were English major.
You don't talk about Greek mythology in English majors.
Okay, Dawn has shared with me before her dislike for Greek mythology retellings, and a lot of it sometimes has to do with like Hades and Persephone, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this one, I did a little bit of research because I had no idea that Eros is technically Cupid. I did not know that. Like, I did not know any of this.
Okay.
So, the original Greek mythology story of Psyche and Cupid is not as glamorous as this book that we just read. Let's put it that way. So the story is that Psyche is so beautiful that the jealous Venus commands her son Cupid to make her fall in love with like an ugly man, because she is so astonishingly beautiful that she feels as though she needs to be punished. But lo and behold, what happens is Cupid basically falls in love with her, and there's a whole bunch of Venus trying to kill her, and Zeus finally declares that Cupid could fall in love and marry Psyche, and then Psyche is like given immortality.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of backstory with those two Greek mythology people, because they're not technically like, she's not technically a goddess. Did you like that?
Yeah.
She's not technically a goddess. So which makes it interesting, because the way that Robert sets up Olympus is that, like, the original Zeus, Aphrodite, Apollo, all of them, like, you have to basically, like, kill the first one to become that person. Like, so they're not, like, the same original people. However, some of them have been reigning for quite some time because they're just nasty and devious. So, anyway. Little bit backstory. So John, what would you rate this book?
I gave it a 3. Kind of
Okay.
a reluctant 3, to be honest.
A reluctant 3?
A reluctant 3.
I gave it a 3.75, and I
Okay.
will say this because I am just eating up, like, super quick, easy reads. I was there for it, like, and I will explain, like, why, but I enjoyed it enough to pick up the third one that was out.
Yeah, you did.
And I read that book in a day.
Wow.
So these are really quick reads. So yeah, let's get started with our dislikes. I can go first.
Okay.
You know, this whole, like, I wasn't super sold on Aphrodite, who is Eros' mom, who is technically supposed to be Venus, if you will, in the real Greek mythology telling. I wasn't sold on her vengefulness to take out Psyche as much. Because to me, it just screamed like Snow White vibes. Like, she's the fairest in the land, and I need to be the fairest in the land, and you need to cut out her heart and bring it to me. Like, that's what I felt
Okay.
with that. So, that's
Yeah.
my first dislike.
That was my main dislike. It's like these ladies, Aphrodite and Demeter. What's her name?
Yeah.
Demeter.
Demeter.
They're set up as these villains. And it would be great if they were actually written as villains, but they're not. It's a lot of tell, and there's no show, which is unfortunate because I think they could be really good villains.
Oh,
but
100%.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I missed the reason why they hate each other. Is it just because they're jockeying for power? Is that the only reason why Demeter and Aphrodite hate each other?
Well, because Demeter is lower. She's not a goddess.
Yeah.
Per se. Like, her daughters are not goddess daughters. Like, she is, but I think how they were sired does not make them goddesses.
Yeah. I think I remember. It's because... I think it's because Demeter is playing matchmaker, but that's Aphrodite's job. And so she feels like Demeter is coming for her job. I think that's what
that, and, you know, Demeter helped take out the last Zeus, so Aphrodite was pissed about that.
Okay.
She had plans for that, you know. But yeah, I agree. These women are supposed to be these, like, big, you know, crazy villains in the story, and I feel like who is it, the spy, what's the spy's name that's
Hermes?
supposed to be like there you go, Hermes. I feel like Hermes is a greater villain if you were going to team a villain, because, you know, than they are. Hermes is supposed to be the messenger and whatever, and I love that it's a girl versus a guy that's Hermes. Anyway, but yeah, I wasn't sold on it.
Nope. That was my main dislike. And I also don't like that Aphrodite doesn't even, like, show her wrath until, like, almost halfway through. Like, she's barely on the page, and she's the main antagonist, and she's hardly on the page. What the hell is that?
Yeah. I felt like her son, Eros, is, like, literally seen at, I think it's Eros. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it?
I just say Eros. I don't know.
Okay.
We're probably butchering all these names.
Right? Ugh. But I feel like he is more, like, cunning and, like, dirty with killing people than they are. Like, you see more of him struggling with that inner being versus them. So I was just like, why are you running from your mom? Like, what did she do to you? Like, should we feel sorry for you? Anyway,
no, he's a little bitch.
The whole, what is it? I did not like that every like 30 to 40 pages, we were constantly being reminded how much he was a monster. That was a little like, we get it. Like I was having flashbacks with Twilight when Edward says, "So the lion fell in love with the lamb," and I was like, eh. Like I just,
That's true. That's so
like
true.
one of those things. I was just like, okay, like you've killed him being a monster too much now. Like now I'm like, ew, I'm not. No, I don't feel sorry for you. Just get over it.
Yeah, and once again, we're being told that he's a monster. We don't really get to see him kill anybody. We don't get to see the monster. I'm trying to think of an example of where the guy is like a ruthless killer, but he's lovable, and or misunderstood is probably a better word for it. But I can't think of one. I know I'll think of one eventually. But yeah, I had that too. It's like either set that up in the first book. That could have been the perfect opportunity to set Eros up in the first book, or at somewhere along the way have her walking in on him snapping necks or something. I don't know, but don't just keep telling us. Or he's just telling a story of what he's done, or like you said, just constantly telling the reader, "I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Don't touch me." I'm like, I don't like where this is going, but it turned around, but
it was borderline cringy for a little bit there. I was like, ew, no, I don't, I'm not for that. I'm not for that.
Yeah.
Because it was true, though. It's like, oh, I can't kill you, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it so we're in a relationship. So there you go. Like, okay. But don't touch me. Like, who's walking in on you? In your crazy secured villa.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's see. I was not the whole like, and this is just me. The world building in this series is not good. Mm-mm. Like it's like bare minimum. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to be very invested in your characters. And I will say, like, I was there for it because she does do an okay job of, like, keeping you invested in the characters' world and whatever they're doing. So, like, you could bypass the world building. But for me, I was, like, hoping, because this was the second book, that we were going to see more of this modern-day Olympus and, like, all of that. And I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it, and they like to say this is the warehouse district, this is the meat district, as if we're in New York and there's like different districts. And I'm trying to picture it, but I can't figure out how big it is. Is it as big as Cleveland, or is it as big as New York City? I don't know. I can't picture the city. I'm just picturing a generic city with skyscrapers and parks. And then a Skid Row or something. And I also can't picture how to get to the underworld. Is it just crossing a bridge and you just are in the underworld? You don't actually go down. It's just like a bridge.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's a bridge to it, yeah. I had a map because the third book has a map in it of what it looks like, and I was like,
oh, we wait till book 3 to do that?
Well, I don't know if book 2 has it, because I listened to it. I listened to it on audio, so it might have in there, but book 3 I saw it and I was like, well, there they all are. There's all their towers, there's all their districts. Cool. Like, it looks like a smaller city, like Cleveland.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I've never been to Cleveland, by the way. I'm just guessing it's small. I don't know.
Sorry, Ohio. Well, okay. Do you have another dislike at all?
I have mostly, well, I wasn't really feeling these two. I didn't really like Eros. Psyche was fine. She was okay. I didn't really care about Eros. He was kind of, I mean, I know he's supposed to be, oh, my mommy. I have to do what my mommy tells me because I'm a little bitch. Like, okay, fine. He was a little too similar to Hades, and I'm like, can we get somebody, like, really different in book 2? I don't want to read a subset of a character that I just read. I don't want to read that. And he did not add anything new except for he's hot and blonde instead of hot and brunette. Okay. I wasn't feeling their romance. I don't think the sex in these books are great. They're kind of repetitive. I'm like, can we do something other than Missionary? It's boring. It's boring.
You didn't have enough when you read the first one in his, like, sex room, basically.
I mean, the only thing that made the sex in that book interesting is because they were in front of people. Other than that, it was just Missionary and finger banging. That's all it was. And I don't read enough erotica to know is this the limit? I don't know. Is there other positions that they put in erotica? I don't know. I don't really read it.
I mean, I think we've read other positions, but this one, yes, it wasn't as, like, spicy, if you will. That it was okay. I wasn't totally sold on the spice.
How many peppers are you giving it?
Ooh, we're gonna do pepper rating. I think you're gonna be like a 3.
Really? Out of how many?
Like a 3 out of 5.
Oh, 5.
Like a 3 out of 5 peppers. Because, you know, there's intimacy, but it doesn't reach the next level where I'm like, do it again. Like,
girl, I was over it when he was like, he called her a goddess and then banged her on the nasty floor. I'm like, I don't think you should be banging goddesses on the floor. She could at least be on the counter. That was it for me. That was it for me. What
like,
5 did we read?
I talk about this.
What 5 did we read?
Well, I think Moss's books are close to 5s.
Oh, okay.
I'm all for their booty times.
Well,
all
I haven't
for it.
read. I've only really read Throne of Glass. I haven't really read her adult. Don't give me that look.
Me giving you that look? You missing out.
I know.
She will get on this line.
I read Crescent City for booty time and I didn't really get it, so I gave up.
No. You need to go back to Kotar and you need to read that, like I've been telling you, because you need it in your life.
I don't like her character development. I'm sorry, I don't like it.
Well then, you know what? You will never see a 5.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll never see a 5.
Anyway, we got sidetracked there.
Yeah.
I have just nitpicks.
Okay.
Do you have a nitpick?
I have a couple. I got a couple.
Okay. You ready for nitpicking time?
Yeah. Nitpicking time.
You sure?
Yeah.
Nitpicking time. I was not for the fake marriage trope. I wasn't. I know some people like that trope. That's not my favorite trope. And I was borderline okay with the falling in love with your intended kill thing. You know, like someone that plays with their food. You're supposed to eat it, but yet we're gonna love it and keep it with us. Like,
well, you know how I feel about that trope. I fucking hate it.
yeah.
But once again, this book is too similar to the first book. So the first book was fake dating, and this is fake marriage. Ooh, so different.
I don't know.
What's one of mine? Okay, so when I read spicy books, there's always a lot of growling and snarling. What's with the growling and snarling? Who growls and snarls?
man does not growl at me or snarl at me.
Like, what? Like, I don't even know what growling sounds like. Like, how do you growl? Is that a growl? A snarl. It's a snarl.
I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like this like criminal act or whatever that takes you back to the beasts that you were or whatever. I don't know. Like, I don't. Let me ask you, ladies. Like, does anyone want their man to growl at them?
Or I feel like snarling is worse than growling, because a snarl requires a facial expression, like a whereas a growl is like in your throat. I don't know what that is when it's booty time. I don't. And it's always in these books, including Sarah J. Maas. She be snarling and growling too.
It's different because they're like fae creature things.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. A fae growling and snarling makes sense.
They're not total human.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Growl. We do not snarl. We do not heave. Like.
Oh, not heaving.
Oh my goodness. So my secondary, like, little nitpick here is, so I listened to both books on audio, and the guy that does Hades' voice is the same dude that does Eros' voice, and I was not happy with that because I was trying to, like, distinguish both of them. They are two different entities. They are not the same dude in any capacity, and I was like, ugh, stop it, stop. And the way that he says her name is just, it's like, ooh, like, like you don't talk like her. Don't try to mimic like a girl voice, because you just ruin all of your clout as like a hot dude reading to me. Like, not for it.
Wait, so the narrator is a guy and he changes his voice for the female parts?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm trying to picture this.
He does it. No. So it's both a girl and a guy that narrate.
Oh, okay.
But when they like mimic the other one, where they like hear her talk, it's like, quit doing that. Like, you completely snap me out of what's happening. Like, and I'm just
okay.
Not here for it. Not here for it. And I really liked Hades and Persephone's story. I was there for that. And so it kind of downgraded Eros for me a little bit, because I was like, you shouldn't sound like him. So.
My next
do you have any
one,
other nitpick?
yeah, it's not really a nitpick as so much as a observation. It's observation time. Just kidding. No. Okay, so this is somewhat controversial but brave. Okay, so Psyche is supposed to be plus size. And, okay, so for those of you who are listening to the podcast and do not know this, hi, I'm Dawn, I'm black. Ashley is white. And so I personally feel like plus size has a definite size. So, like, I think it's like 10 is considered plus, 10 or 12 is considered a plus size. But I feel like a bigger woman, quote unquote bigger woman, or full figure woman. Okay, so this is why I say this. Okay, so I wrote it down. The first chapter, Psyche is described as having a generous figure. And so I feel like generous figure is defined differently among races. I feel like a generous figure for a white person is not... It's probably like a size 10. Whereas a lot of black women are a size 10 but are not considered a generous figure. Am I making any sense?
Well, what would you be considered though? Because I would consider a generous figure like a 14. And that to me at 14 is like plus size.
What? Okay,
generous
so
figures.
Okay. I guess like
that's just me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like in black culture, skinny
Mm-hmm.
is different than skinny for white people. For a black person, skinny could be a size 12. For a white person, I feel like that's not skinny. So when she was saying generous figure as a black woman, I was having a hard time figuring out what generous figure meant. Because to me, a generous figure is 18, is a size 18. I wouldn't consider like a 12 to be a generous figure, but I feel like a white person would consider a 12 to be a generous figure. So I was like, I don't know what generous figure means, but that could be fine. Like, it could be subjective. That's fine. But I was just like, I don't know what that means.
Well, yeah, because everyone views their body types differently. So when I was picturing Psyche's size, because I'm a size 6 for myself. So like when I think of someone who is like they have to get like custom dresses ordered, or they're more generously curvy, I'm thinking of someone that, maybe even to like size 18 can't find their size in a store because that's the highest that it goes. So I considered Psyche like a size 16 to 18 in my own, like that's how I saw her. Yeah. For me personally, because everyone views body images differently and like what they do for size or whatever, but like I'm not a skinny 6. I'm a very curvy 6. Like I'm not like, so it's like it could be depicted differently by every person, but like you said, like the way that she uses it to describe her, what does that mean? Yeah. Like, do you mean she's got bigger boobies, bigger butt? Like, is she a little just wider in the hips and the top? Like, I don't know. Like, everyone's body type is different.
Yeah.
And how you carry it is different. So,
yeah, that's all.
I saw her, like I said, about size 16, 18.
I don't know, I guess I was just saying is because the writer is a white woman, so I'm like, what is she defining as generous figure? Is she saying like a 12? But for a black person, a 12 is not a generous figure. That's the only reason why I brought it up. Like I didn't know in her head what generous figure meant. I didn't care. It didn't affect my enjoyment of the book. It was just, that's why I said it was an observation. It wasn't a nitpick or anything like that.
Right. But again, though, to say the word generous and then plus size, those are 2 different things.
Yeah.
Like, so I can see that. Validate your thoughts, Dawn. Validate them. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to our likes. If Dawn has any likes for this book, we'll see. Do you have any?
I guess not really. I liked Psyche better than Persephone. Is that a like? There's nothing. I wasn't like. I wasn't gagged about anything in this book. You know what I mean? It was just fine. It was all fine.
Yeah. I will, like, my number one like for her books is the fact that I can literally sit down in a day if I wanted to and just blast through a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had books like that in a while, so that was refreshing. For me, I did like how she did do one thing that I really liked, and it was a play on like what our society self is represented as and who we are as people behind closed doors, because she definitely was playing into that whole like influencer thing, being a social media influencer and like placing your life how you want to be viewed, and even so much so that like Psyche's drink of choice is different when she's out and about and knows that someone's going to be taking a picture of her versus what she actually wants as an adult beverage. And I thought that was interesting because that was totally like very relative to what is happening like right now, like with a lot of social media influencers and like the staging that they do in their lives every single day and all of that. So I thought that was interesting. And I liked that Eros did not downgrade her for that skill. I liked that he actually applauded that skill of hers because she doesn't seem like this demising person or conniving in any shape or form. Like, she's very open and honest. So to see like how she uses it to guard herself in that world was, I liked that. That was probably like the one big thing you could probably pull from this book.
Okay.
It's just that. Other than that, that's all I really had for likes for me.
Yeah, that's
personally.
all. I got nothing else.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to stick around for us spoiling it, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise,
What's
we
our
are
next
going
book?
to be reading
Okay.
Verity by Colleen Hoover is going to be our next book. So, yeah, if you guys have any smutty books that are 5 spicy peppers as Dawn is looking for, please recommend them to us. Leave us a comment. Is there any? Does it exist? I think it does. Dawn has yet to experience any. So throw your recommendations down there for us and we will read it. I will read it. That's right. Because I want to see what it is. So, yeah, well, here's your Janet Jackson warning. We are going to be starting our spoiler edition in
5, 4,
5,
3, 2, 1.
I messed it up. Look at your hand, and there was like a delay.
You gotta practice. Every night before you go to bed, practice. No, what is that? There's never a thumb. After 5, there's never a thumb. Just think this way. Just think this way. This is how you get it. 2 is the peace sign. When it's time to do 2, skip to the peace sign and then do 1. Because you're like 5, 4, 3. Because this is awkward. So just skip peace sign. 3 skip. 3 skip.
Okay.
3 skip.
3 skip.
3 skip.
I love you, Dawn. This is why we're friends. She just deals with me just being so naive and stupid. It's fine. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, for me, let's talk about... We can talk about Eros and how he has, like, his crazy security-ridden place and how he has so much faith that he's going to know his mother's steps. But yet, you know, maybe not.
I have a confession. I did not read the last 50 pages. Sorry. I don't know what happens.
This happens every time, and Ashley has to summarize it.
I know. I debated on whether to tell you or not. I was like, I'm not going to tell her. But I was like, oops, she talked about stuff that I don't know. I don't think I can wing it. I don't know. I didn't care. I was like, I don't care anymore. And I had every intentions on finishing it. I opened it up and I was like, don't care. And I was just like, I'll ask Ashley how it ended. But I didn't know that we were doing this book for the podcast. So
Dawn and I somehow messed that up. We both read 2 different books and it's fine. We read the same book, but not at the same time. Anyway, so, yeah, Eros has a lot of confidence in himself. Just the fact that, like, he's been a victim of his mom's, like, physical, emotional, mental abuse 100%. And so the fact that he was so confident that he could, like, change her mind, and then he's like, oh crap, like, what? Like, why would she do that, you know? And it just made me think, like, how naive are you as a child? Like,
well,
your parents, you know,
yeah,
like,
I think he kind of
they're
thought,
gonna outsmart you.
I think he kind of hoped, I should say, that his mom loved him enough to say, okay, you love this woman, hands off. But she didn't.
Yeah, that pissed me off for him, because that was, like, very much so, like, the catalyst point where he was like, she has never loved me and she will never love me. Like, it will always be about her. I am just a pawn, and I was a pretty face that she could hide all of her dirty secrets behind. Yeah. So, you know, and then you have Psyche, who is like this like super kind person. She's always being nice to everyone around her, making sure they're okay. But for herself, she doesn't care. She was hiding behind, it says that she wasn't hiding behind her body, that she was quite confident, but there was a lot of things that I'm like, well, how many times does someone who has that specific situation, like, how many times do they have to get hit with like, you're fat, you're not pretty, you're not this, you're not that, like, before they start to crumble. And I respected her as a character enough to be like, she has a sharp exterior, and her inside was like, I know my worth, I know what I am, I can leave, I can make this choice for myself, and I applauded that versus letting it like get to her to break her down, and everything like that. So, you know, and then the whole ending part, the we love each other, I love you, don't do it, I need to go or else she's not gonna stop looking for you, that whole thing or whatever. And then Psyche uses literally the only thing in her arsenal, which is her social media, and like having those connections to be able to out someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aphrodite gets booted off.
Oh,
She's
she
booted
does.
off Olympus. She gets booted off.
Interesting.
Exiled. So, yeah. That's all I really had on it. I did like the fact that, like, the Demeter sisters, the Demeter sisters, or Demetra, I think that's her name. It's not Demeter. I think it's Demetra in the book. I think I really like how the sisters all have their own, like, hidden superpower, essentially, and they, number one, put family first, and there's this, like, unspoken, just language between them of, like, I need you to respect my decision and not question what I'm doing right now. Just know that I have it under control. And it's like, well, how many times do you hear that, like, sisters are, like, super catty with each other? It's always a challenge. It's always this, like, don't talk to me, I'm not your best friend, you know, all of that. And I kind of liked how they did that. And then towards the end of the book, when like Hades and Eros are at a family dinner at the Demeter sisters' house or mom's house, they both are outskirts, right? Like, they don't have family that love. Well, Hades, all of his are dead. And then Eros, like, his mom is just non-existent in his life. And so they have a moment where they get to see what a crazy, loud, loving, obnoxious family looks like. And it's just so beautiful that, like, they get to experience that towards the end of the book. So,
Cool.
yeah. Anything else you want to spoil?
Nope. That was quick.
No.
Record time.
That was quick. Man, I could have just been like, you know, spoiler alert is happening right now. There's the ending. We love you. Oh, but Dawn and I wanted to talk about, we are making summer kind of like our romance vacation book style reading the next few months ish.
I thought we were doing book talk books. Girl, I don't be knowing where I am at in these conversations we be having. That's my bad.
Well, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. You will find out next month. We had talked about doing it. That's cool. Not a big deal. We're going to do book talk books too.
I'm reluctant to do romance is because we do these popular romance books, and I'm scared I'm going to poo-poo all over these people's favorite books, and I don't want to poo-poo on their books because it's already having a disadvantage going in that I don't like romance. That's my hesitation.
This is why we're going to do a mystery suspense book next, guys. So, anyway, we appreciate you guys for listening in. Tune in next time to hear our thoughts on Verity by Colleen Hoover.
It's our first Colleen Hoover book.
Right. I'm excited. We are late to the game on this Colleen Hoover trend, so we're going to give it a go.
Yeah.
So So until next time, we'll catch you in the next podcast.
Bye-bye.